The number one thing that makes a Metroid game good is how well the map is laid out. As an aside, this is why grading rubrics for games often don't work because different kinds of games have different kinds of rubrics. I don't believe you should review this way anyway, but in order to get anything out of different games, you need to be thinking about them along different axes. And for Metroid, one of these axes is the map. SMB1 doesn't have a map, it has levels, and so the games exist as different on a mechanical level, and a different rhetorical level. Levels have different form from maps. They each have a set of rules one must follow in order to be recognized as either a level or a map. A level needs an end. A Metroid map needs to be completely connected, and so it's these connections which characterize Metroid the most. With that being said, I've thought for a long time, and I'm still not sure what makes a good Metroid map. I think there are certain extremes which you can push map design. For example, you can have a straight path to the end where the only deviations are dead ends with an item, so that the entire game would consist of backtracking to the right location and choosing the correct forward advancing path. Obviously, this would get pretty boring pretty fast. You can't make many reasonable inferences from a map structure like this. You would basically just pick paths at random until you got the right one, or check every path to get every item. This kind of structure is really simple, and the player could even point out what it's doing in their mind without even thinking about it. So Metroid doesn't do this, but it does do it sometimes. There are other trends. Central vertical hallways with lots of connections, pathways that loop back to a central area, and etc. What I think Super Metroid does so well is that it combines these trends in interesting ways, so that the player's sense of direction is somehow grounded without being utterly forced. In other words, the map plays an interpretive game with you. It leads you to believe things that might not be true or that you might be unsure of, so that your interpretation of direction is always a struggle. Also allows you to succeed. Basically what I'm saying is that the map isn't cryptic at all, but it's also not too easy to navigate. The balance is perfect. And Metroid Fusion is beautiful because it also somehow does this while trying to come across as completely forced. There's a really large ocean of trends here. You can use big boxes with 4 exits to connect from branching paths, like in Super Duper Metroid, and so on and so forth. Thus, in order to make a good Metroid game, you need to utilize a lot of these trends really well. I just don't think it's really ever been done all that much, though, which is why I say that no game has really copied Metroid in this way.